impact on the next generation? That's the question. Now, how do we move away? Is it by the Sunnah, or does Islam support this stereotypic behavior? No, the previous one. The previous one. Yes, this is it. Thank you. Okay, so sorry for that. Is civilization the problem? That's the next question. But this one, is there a stereotype? Does Islam support it or Islam negate it? And what should we do from home? Stereotypes, like I said, we'll have some things that are gender-based. This is for females. This is for male. If you see a girl running up those staircases, you'll be like, stop it, stop acting like a boy. And if you see a boy skipping, you'll be like, it's only girls that do that. You see, when mommies go shopping at birth, pink for girls, blue for boys. And all of those things that determine the concept of who the child sees himself as or herself as. Now, there's also this movement where they say we should be gender non-specific. Like, I don't want to say my child is a boy. I'll just call him a child. Then when he grows up, he decides his own gender. Yes, that's the truth now. That's what's involved now. Especially when you go into sociology and stuff like that. That's what they do. And all these ideas keep coming from the West. So does Islam support these things? Is there anything as stereotype, or there is no stereotype? And what is the gender balance for us, and how do we put it to this generation?
I think there's a monster, a hydra-headed monster that is brewing amongst us as a human, and we need to be very, very mindful of them and step them from the start. Yes, there's no gain saying the fact. Like you said, physiologically there's a difference between a man and a woman. There are some things that are basically feminine. There's no gain saying that. A man cannot be walking down this place now and now doing like this. It is basically not masculine. There are realities of life. But then, when it comes to the home, maybe because of the way we are trained to be able to handle both sides. At home, it's not my home where we were raised was not a home where washing plate was for the women. Everybody washes plates. You cannot even go to eat and not wash your plate. Either you are a male or a female, you would wash. And even I, as the head of the home till now, I still have to wash plates.
Thank you, thank you.
So, yeah. It does not mean it does not mean it is my duty. Let's be clear about this. It does not mean it's my neither on the other way, let us take it to the other side too. That because when a woman, it is basically what Islam encourages, and it is the man that works to provide for the family. It is the woman that supports and supports the home front. That is the basic thing. But we can also sometimes, the duties can interchange. It does not mean that a woman cannot sometimes support financially the home front, and it does not also mean that the man cannot support in the domestic state. So the stereotype, and if you mistakenly train a boy to think that I should sit down watching TV when my wife, with whom we came back from work together, should toil for extra 2 hours in the kitchen without lending support, then the Sekina and the Rahman that Islam has preached is not there. So it is neither here nor there. It is mutual support, mutual between the wife and the woman. So the stereotype is something we must try and discourage. The same way, there are some women now, because of their own experiences, wanting to train their women or their female children to say, if you work, don't support him, keep your money to yourself. Don't make him a useless husband because of your support. No, don't ever train your daughter like that. Like Ajia mentioned, if peradventure you train her like that and the man leaves first, she does not know how to work, she does not know how to maintain a business, she cannot run an enterprise, then your children, even her, will be in trouble. So, like I said, you should train your women to be able to act like a man when the time demands, and to be able to be still ladylike when the time demands. you train your men to be a man when the time demands, and sometimes to have the heart, the lily liver of a woman when the time demands.
Your view is opposing to what he said, or you are agreeing?
Okay. Basically, it's just to say that the issue of who does what in the house is really influenced by culture more than what Islam says. So because I'm not aware of any of it where persons as categorically said that these are the activities that a man, a boy or a girl should be doing in the house. So apart from things that are very clear, like giving back, it's women. Men should not say that they're going to give back. Then also being responsible in the house, providing for the house, the shelter for the family, it's a man's responsibility. Even if a woman is working, the man has to shoulder that responsibility. Unlike what happens in the Western world where it's always like half-half, they do 50-50. The man is working, the woman is working, they pay the bills together. Fine, they can do it together, but it's not an obligation on the woman to do that. It is the man's responsibility to make sure that he pays for the house when he does all those things. Now, when the man is doing what he has to do, it's all about the division of labor and it's all about understanding. Does it mean that if the wife is always cooking, the husband can't cook? I mean, they can work it out. There's no specification from Islam in terms of who should be cooking in the house, who should be maybe cleaning the toilet, who should be removing maybe like snow if it's in a place where they have issue of snow, or maybe who should be cleaning the compound. For me, I think it's about understanding oneself and then finding how what works for individuals. Like I said, culture plays a critical role in defining how people live their life. So people in the West, it's common to find the husband cooking. Most times, husband cook, even when maybe the wife is not around. Sometimes the wife cooks. In fact, you find more men that know how to cook than women. Unlike this is not the case in maybe in the Middle East and Africa. In the Middle East and Africa, you find out that men and women are not engaged in domestic work. But Islam doesn't say that they are the one that should do certain kind of activities in life. So it's all about what works, and then the society will define. If you come to my house, I'm living in Nigeria, for instance. You come to my house and you find out that I'm the one washing plates. The wife is there watching television. It will look like a taboo, right? You are doing something that is not acceptable. But of course, there's nothing that says that I can't do that, right? So it's just about educating people, and that's it.
Yes, I think لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي رَسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. We have the best sample from the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If a man can watch a plate, we had history. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had a race with Sayyidah Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha. The first time Sayyidah Aisha won the race, the second time Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam won, and he said, I took this one to represent the first one. So that means if he has means to watch, we definitely do it. We can have a race with her. So, assalamu alaikum. We even have to domestic violence, many of those wives. So, yeah, the Prophet is the best example.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, we're closely, getting to where we have planned to get to. We have actually discussed this issue, extensively. Many questions have been answered that will have given us a clue to, okay, what are the roles, what are the things? We've been able to answer the issue of equality or equity. We know now it is equity and it is not equality. Physiologically, so many factors makes it not to be equal. But equity, justice is part of Islam. Allah enjoys it, we cannot do away with it. Then that takes me back to the same person. The concept of gender role balance in the next generation. That brings us to the reason why we are here today. If Zytoon organized this program, not because we thought many people have not done a lot. Internationally, locally, we have a lot of workshops where people have dealt with this thing, they dwell on it, and many resolutions have been made. But why do we have to key into it? It is because of the next generation. We in Zytoon, we believe we're nurturing kids that we want them, to be balanced. We want them to be a total child that will be able to succeed in this life and thereafter. We've watched with total sorrow. We've watched with hard, heavy heart, how homes are breaking every day, how couples are separating every day, and what actually is the cause. We see this as one of the major reasons why couples are going apart. Because gender issue is actually a normal thing that you must, come about. It is in our homes, it is part of our culture, it is about us. Every day, men will exhibit their traits. Every day, women assume, this is what we have. And at this age, we realize that the world is actually open to us. Knowledge is everywhere. I don't need to meet one ustaz again before I know what the Quran says. Whether I go to Arabic school or not, I know about Google. I know Quran is on Google. I can ask direct. Ask me is there. Ask me will lead me. And I know that, okay, when Ask Me tells me this is what the Quran says, I can take, some actions based on that and ask for the question. The next generation, what are they? Whether we're actually teaching them this, whether we want them to know it or not, they are going to know it. What our roles are now is that, what do we want them to do? How prepared are they?
Stop.
If we're talking about gender equality, it is a thing that started today. It will continue for the next 20 years. Our kids will get to grow up to know about it. When they're not well informed, when they're not nurtured to be balanced, don't forget the second video that talked about nurturing consciously, nurturing kids that will be conscious, that will be balanced, that will be able to regulate, things around them. So when we don't train them, when we don't give them all that it takes now, they might not be able to take the right decision. Somebody who said, Quran said, I can work, and will continue to work and work and work without remembering the fact that the same Quran says, I have the role to support my husband, to take care of my child. How do I balance it? That is what we need to do. So each one of us now, we have to start working on our homes, because we have many homes that are having issues due to this. The husband will just lay a blanket, rule, don't work. And the wife now has questions. Why did I go to school? I have friends that are working, they're earning. After all, I can earn as much or even more than you. So men has to be informed. Women has to be informed as to what they have, and that is exactly what we have been able to do now, the next generation. Do we have to close the chapter here? No. Zytoon believes it is not something for us alone. Yes, it is going to help us. But don't forget that some of us are already made. Zytoon, this particular 2 hours or 2.5 program, we pray that allow it to manifest in our life. It might not change the mind of some of us. We're already made. It is not our fault. We were just raised to be like that. A woman will not want to talk outside, will not want to say prayer, will not want to. Some even believe, because my mom, I want to advise my husband, boys now, if a mother is not working, if you marry her daughter and she comes into your life and you are okay and she tries not to work and be lazy, don't blame her. It is not her fault. Same thing if you marry, the daughter of a woman that works and works and works and works, and eventually you marry her and she refuses to look back at you and continue to aspire, become the MD, went to the Senate, become this. Don't blame her. So what we're practically doing now here today is that we want us to realize this thing and now start preparing our kids for it, so that you will not have a no-gender children. Oh, it is very, very possible. Because when the child goes on to Google, attend so many conferences without being well informed, without being well trained, automatically she will come back and tell you, I am a no-gender person. And don't forget, on that same Google, we have a lot of movements that are supporting this in Islamically. I don't know if you have had the opportunity to search. You will see, and it will be justified. So now, Zytoon and so many other institutions who are teaching, should go beyond just the Psalms, go beyond the sciences to nurture kids for the future. So we just have to prepare them, because this issue and the next generation is actually the main issue. Every day we're having divorces, then we'll be having divorces. Because everybody will be like, I can't take this and you can't do that. So that's, and then the next thing we'll be tackling now would lead us to the next question. What, should the school, what are the roles? What roles should the school play? What roles should the home play? To make sure that these kids, because I don't want us to lose focus. It is about our children, it's about our kids. So what should we do with them? To start preparing them, to change the stereotype. to work on the mindset of the man, of the boy that will eventually become the man, to work on the mindset of the girl that will eventually become the woman of tomorrow. Thank you so much.